Good day. I'm the Reverend Charles Evan Taylor, Senior Minister of the Universal Truth Center for Better Living. And I want to welcome you today to our Better Living Conversations. We have a treat for you. This coming Sunday is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers and mother figures out there. Thank you for your dedication and your love to helping to make this world a better place. But today we have a treat for you. My beautiful wife, Shakira Taylor, First Lady of the Universal Truth Center, will be doing the interviewing today. And she will have three special guests that she will introduce to you to share with you some insights on how mothers and families are dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic. Sit back, enjoy, and have a great day. Peace and blessings to you.
Okay, so what better way to start this Better Living conversation for Mother's Day week, Mother's Day weekend, than having two of our UTC Better Living teachers with us, both mothers and a grandma in the mix. And we have a daughter, one of our youth leader, Rihanna, who's going to be here, and we're going to talk about mothers and Mother's Day and family and COVID-19. So I'm excited to get the conversation started.
All right.
Ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having me.
Thanks for having us.
Great. So I want to start this conversation by just asking you all to introduce yourself. Please share a little bit about yourself and your connection to UTC. Who wants to go? Michelle?
Sure. Good evening, panel members. Shakira, my name is Michelle Washington. I am a native Miamian, and I am a member of Universal Truth Center for Better Living. I've been a member since 2007, and I'm a mom, wife. I have three beautiful daughters. My mom is still with me. I have a grandmother who's 104 years old. So I'm excited to be on this panel and be able to talk about my mother experience as I reminisce on, my relationship with my mother and my grandmother.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. 104 years old. All right. So why not have Rihanna, your daughter, go next? Just introduce yourself, Rihanna, and share a little bit about yourself and some exciting thing. Give us just a tip of some excitement that's going on in your life during this time.
I'm Rihanna Washington, Michelle Washington's daughter. I play volleyball. That's like a major part of my life. I've been going to UTC since I was like 2 or 3 years old.
Wow.
With my mom. During this time, this summer, I'm going to be a teaching fellow, which is like a person who like teaches like middle schoolers social studies during the summertime.
Nice.
So that's something that I'm really looking forward to right now. I'm just focused on self-care and trying to take care of myself so that I can present my best self in June if that summer is actually going to happen. So
looking forward to hearing about that. I need some of those tips right now. And so our mom and grandma that's on the panel, UTC Better Living teacher, go ahead, Ms. Parrott, and share a little bit about yourself.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Parrott Lee. I'll add my new name to it. I have 3 children and 4 grandchildren. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I've been in Miami for over 40 years now. I'm a charter member for UTC. I am the youth ministry director for UTC and UFPL.
Nice.
More? Good.
Good. We're gonna get into more as the conversation goes on. So thank you and welcome once again. One of the questions I want to lead in as we talk about mothers and family is, I know for the Washington, and we'll start with you, Michelle, you probably have one of the largest family I know. You have the large family, your husband have the large family. How is this COVID-19 thing working out with social distancing and a large family? Like, how are you connecting?
Well,
if at all?
two family reunions have been canceled, so
Wow.
we're not going to be able to celebrate family this year as we do every year, but we're doing our best to just keep in touch. I had a family member call me from Alabama just a couple of days ago, and another one to call from Detroit. We do a lot of FaceTiming. My mom's
Mm.
in Atlanta at this moment. She just celebrated her 79th birthday recently, so we did a full video chat with her, and she enjoyed it. Rick happened to have traveled to Atlanta today, so he had a
Mm.
second chance to see her in person. So we were
Wow.
able to video chat with her. With as much as possible, we just try to connect with family through social media. We're so thankful for technology.
Yeah.
Can you imagine when this happened, or even though it hasn't happened to this degree, but when things like this have happened in the past, and there was no Zoom, there was no FaceTime, there was no WhatsApp. I can only imagine how people worried about their family members,
Hmm.
especially if they couldn't get through on the phone and so forth. So we are thankful for what we do have in front of us and what we can use as a method or tool for staying connected.
Yeah. A lot of people are going through the emotions of whether or not technology can replace the connection, right? So even though you're having the Zoom chat and the connection, it's like you literally want to touch. You want to
Oh
be in the same room
boy.
and the same space. Deborah, are you using any technology with your family to stay connected? How are you doing?
Um, Actually, I have a very small family. My 90-year-old mother, she just turned 90 last week. She's here. I have a brother that I raised, and basically, the others are here in my house. Um, you're not going to Zoom conversation with my mother, okay?
Not
Forget
happening.
that. My mom will call you in the morning and you have to, put on your mask and you have to go and make sure she has everything that she needs. Fortunate that she's
Mm,
only like 3 blocks away from me. So
that's
that's
good.
been comfortable with that.
Great.
Other than that, I've not realized that I had so much family that's not actually family. My friends have
Mm.
become, oh, are
Oh, nice.
yes, constantly in contact. I forgot to mention that I also have um, three stepchildren,
Mm,
and yeah, so I'm getting a
nice.
big family. I don't have one right now, but it's getting there. But
That's
Great.
as far
happening.
as I haven't really had to do much Zoom or social media with the family, um, other than my UTC family. That's
Hmm.
that's yeah, that's who
That's
I've been.
happening.
Yeah.
So it's kind of strange because we're locked in the house and we're supposed to be experiencing the social distancing thing. But I
Hmm.
do find that a lot of people are talking about like the extended family and the connections that's happening and people are checking in on each other and so forth. What has been your experience with checking in with each other and that feeling of family that's extending outside of your blood? What has been your experience so far being locked in?
I'm going to say to you that there's really not enough time in the day to communicate. I think you and I tried to communicate
And it
three
never
days
happened.
straight in a row, and we
Never
couldn't do
happened.
it. Right. I've never been on my phone so much, which
Yes.
is which is a blessing. It's a blessing. People are praying with each other. They're sharing our principles. It's just been an experience. So, yeah.
Mm, nice. Michelle, anything to add to that with your experience?
I was glad Deborah said that because I had thought about it in thinking about this situation and seeing people on Facebook or talking to friends. I'm like, there must be something wrong with me because I'm still trying to find a way to balance work,
Mm-hmm.
family, relational unfoldments, and self care. I embrace this maximize the moment, and sometimes to my advantage, and sometimes to error thinking because I feel like I don't have a minute. And then
Yeah.
trying to squeeze in the the extra time, because I'm one who I really don't communicate a lot, especially on the phone. I'd rather see you in person. You can shoot me an email and probably get a better response than calling me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to skip the phone call and say, oh, I'll call them back. And I always practice business etiquette. If I call you in 24 hours, that's good, you know. But if you shoot me an email, I may respond immediately. So in
Right,
all of
right.
this, even though we're making the effort to connect, because I believe more so because of the situation itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit, I don't want to use the word scary, but there is some trepidation there. And
Around it,
we
yes.
have this sense of, I'm going to live for today. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the people that are around me. I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
try to take advantage of the things that are around me. I'm going to try to enjoy life, more. Even if you're enjoying what you were doing, you're probably, putting more attention to certain things and certain people that you may not have done prior to this event.
Yeah, that's so true. I wanted to bring Rihanna in at this point. I know for me in high school, the most exciting time for me was to get dressed to go to school to see my friends. It wasn't about like going to class and getting all of that. It was about seeing my friends at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know why we had so many things to talk about, but apparently between the night and the morning, there was a lot to catch up on. How have you been handling this homeschool situation and not being in close contact with your friends or physical spaces with your friends? What's
Well,
happening in your world?
at first, I wasn't really feeling it too much. I couldn't do the remote learning thing. I miss my friends a lot. But then I realized I like being in control of my own schedule. Like, I really like
Hmm.
scheduling my day for myself rather than school scheduling it for me. And then at this time, I realized who my real friends were. Like, who would I really be talking to if I didn't have to, like, force interaction with them every day? And so,
Mm.
like Ms. Deborah was saying, you realize that you have more families than you thought. Like, my
Mm-hmm.
friends are like my real family too. And as far as my immediate family, my mom, my dad, my sisters, our relationships are only improving because we don't really have to deal with the everyday work in school. So I
Mm-hmm.
find me getting like much closer to my sisters than I like ever was before.
Mm. Wow, that's a beautiful thing because you would think that you're in the house and so, there's that separation happening.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have been experiencing, well, in what I'm listening to or seeing on social media, I don't know if it's the emotions or the craving for what it is that we think, but this COVID is putting us really into intimate spaces, right? And to be more appreciative of what we're experiencing and what we're going through. So, what are some of the spiritual practices that you've been using? And I'll throw this out to anyone who wants to start with it. What spiritual practices have you been putting in to your life while being in quarantine, not quarantine, but locked in your house and social distancing?
Well, I guess I'll go. One of the things that I've been embracing, I'm trying not to expand, but really embrace just the five basic principles that we practice that I feel fit
Mm,
into everything. And also our what we believe statement that, God wants us to be healthy, happy, and prosperous. And He wants that for
mm-hmm,
everyone, or God wants it for everyone. And during this time, and just as I think about the way I want to practice in my life towards work, towards my family, towards everything, I just think about those things. One of the added factors is, teaching the classes that I've been teaching during this time. One being Discover the Power Within You. So just studying, Eric Butterworth and the practices that he talked about in the book and following Jesus's teaching. And then now the 12 Powers, which we just come off the series with Reverend Charles, and now to teach it as a class. It's been something I'm having to embrace, more fully, having to study to
mm-hmm.
teach the class. And then even the workshop that Reverend Jackie just put on Saturday. So now we have
Right.
these daily practices that we have to do to, apply it to her workshop and further learning. So it's been a lot of spiritual growth,
It's
but I still go back to the basics, our 5 basic principles and
mhm.
our what we believe statements, particularly the first one.
Nice. So, we have to be grateful for UTC continuing to have these conversations like this Better Living conversation that we're having now and the classes that we offer because,
Yes.
although we're home and we're separated as physically separated as a community, I believe that we're connected now more than ever and we're being spiritually fed in so many different ways with the classes and so forth that's being offered. So, Rihanna, I know you touched on your self-care and your regime that you're going through. What have you been doing for your self-care and practices?
It's so funny because I just finished the Basic Truth One class right before right before this whole quarantine thing happened, and Shakira, I remember like I used to say, oh, I just can't find time to silence and pray and meditate throughout my like. And then now I find myself with nothing on my slate during the day, about to go crazy trying to like plan it all. And so I'm finding it a lot more easy to meditate and pray and stay in
Mm,
the silence a lot more often because I'm by myself a lot of times during the day. And I really need that to ground myself so that I just don't sleep and eat during the day. And you can ask my
mhm.
mom, I go walking like at least like 3 times a day just so that I don't have to stay in
Wow.
the house.
Mhm.
And I find that a very powerful tool in staying like spiritually grounded and really communicating with God, just those walks by myself.
Nice. I've got to.
Rihanna, would you please share with her your experience with your posse group on yesterday?
Yes, I want to hear.
Okay, so my posse group is the group that also got the scholarship with me to go to Mount Holyoke College. And so we meet, well, now it's Zoom meetings, but we meet every Monday and we have very powerful conversations about whatever the topic leaders want to discuss. So
Hmm.
yesterday we talked about spirituality and religion.
Mm.
And so one of the questions that we discussed near the end was, what is your view on God?
Wow.
And we all have different religions. We have a few agnostic, some atheists, some, Catholic, etc. And I gave my perspective on God. The one common theme among the girls is that they didn't know exactly what they believed. They knew what they grew up with, but they didn't know what they believe for themselves.
Hmm.
And I told them how I view God, that God is not a deity in the sky, that there's
Hmm.
God in each and every one of us, and that God
Hmm.
is all good. And so you can never associate any bad adjectives with any person because there is a God in each and every one of us. And that kind of eases your perspective on how you view people, even people who do really bad things. Those people can never be terrible or bad or, you can never disrespect those people because they all have the all good presence within them.
Hmm.
And they were like, wow. They was really shocking to hear. It was just, the feedback I got was so powerful. They were like, wow, we really love what you said. Like, I really never thought of
Wow.
it that way. Your perspective was amazing. And I said, oh, I want you guys to come to church with me one day. That'd be so much fun.
That'd be
And
awesome.
they were glad to hear that. Like, they're really interested in it.
That's so powerful.
Mhm.
And that's so good to be able to share your point of view and to stand in your truth, right? And I know Deborah Parrott is smiling as the youth director of UTC, and I know your mom is smiling because this is the gifts. It's like an extension. You talk about the self-care, you talk about sharing your point of view. For me, I'm choosing to look at these moments as the gifts of COVID,
Yeah.
right? The gifts of COVID. If we didn't have COVID, you wouldn't be able to be in your practices as consciously as you are and to share intimately about your point of view. So I love that. I love that. So Deborah Parrott, what's your spiritual practices? How are you deepening and what have you been doing?
I have heard over and over and over, don't sweat the small stuff. I did not realize, I had no idea how much small stuff that I actually sweated. Now, I'm
Mm.
learning with all of us here in the house. And can you imagine being with your husband 24 hours a day? And your children, you're cleaning and they're going
Mm-hmm.
behind you and you're cleaning. And I have learned to think before I speak. And you guys are laughing as if I have learned to
Yes.
think before I speak. Yes. So I'm
Mm.
really working with my five right brothers.
Would share that with us. What
The
are the five Wright
thoughts,
brothers? Mm.
feelings, my actions, my reactions, and I should have said words first. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I am
Yes.
working on me. Because think about it. Think about it. And the funny part is I could go in the kitchen to make breakfast. And just as soon as I enter the kitchen, my grandchildren come into the kitchen and they want a totally different breakfast. So now you've got everybody in there piled up on each other. It's I, I've had to really, really, really stop and think
Mm-hmm.
before I speak or before I act, and that's been my biggest faith. Of course, I in my readings, I've been working with uh, why is this happening to me again with Michael Rice?
Mm.
So that's bringing up some things in me that a better Deborah Parrott Lee will come out of this 19. Mhm.
I hear you. I
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah.
I'm seeing that's a perfect segue because I'm seeing a lot of things, images on social media about the challenges of parenting with the kids at home. I've seen where even the pets are being affected because there's so many people in the house and the pets can't find a quiet place to sleep the way they usually sleep. What is your experiencing? What are you experiencing in the house with the homeschool in one room? You're probably working, Michelle. You're still working.
Yes.
What's happening? How's the schedule looking
Well, as a
each day?
person who is it called OCD, or where you just like, you're so used to structure.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 weeks, I really went crazy.
Wow.
That's the way I felt. I think I've attended a couple of UTC meetings where I said, I am totally overwhelmed with this.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm starting to find some balance, trying not to get so used to it, because then they tell me to go back to work and I'm be like, wait a minute, I've gotten used to this. But it's been all good. And what I love is the homeschooling part. I'm loving my time with my younger daughter,
Mm-hmm.
Michaela. I'm learning so much. I just want to be in sixth grade all over again, Miss Parrot.
Wow. Wow.
I am
Fun.
learning so much, and I was like, where was this when I was coming up? And I know it was there. I just feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm starting all over, but it's just been a very enjoyable experience sharing this journey with her. And I'll let Rihanna, I guess, talk on the pet side because I think our pet is loving all of us being home,
Oh, wow.
spoiled as
Wow.
ever.
Nice. I
Yeah.
want us to be mindful. We have about 7 minutes. Okay, I see
Oh,
the time went up. We have about 7 minutes. So I want to make sure that we're leaving the audience or whoever is viewing with something powerful that they can take away. So from your experiences, and I know everybody's probably staggered differently, right, in terms of being at home. One might be home for a month, 2 months. I want us to, what is your words of encouragement to moms right now who are probably quarantined in the house with the parents? Deborah shared in the kitchen, dealing with the food, dealing with the different needs, the different demands upon themselves, and probably not even having the opportunity or the space to have some alone time. What's working for you, and what would you encourage somebody else in how they're handling it?
I'll start. I like as you can't really see, but right now I'm outside. And my word is to everyone is to find your own little corner. Find your own little corner, your own little space where you feel like it's yours. It's yours. Where you can read there, you can listen to music, um, and you're not what can I say? You have some space between you and the other members of your family. Everyone needs just a little quiet time, little quiet time. And that's my thing. To make sure, even if it's outside, it's in the living room, everyone should have a little corner where they can go when they just want to be with themselves.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. Find your space. I'm going to leave you for last, Rihanna, because I'm going to twist the thought a little bit more. Michelle, do you want to share something? What is your...
Yes, I want to just share or encourage everyone to embrace the moment. One of Reverend Charles's sermon when he was doing the 12 Power series, I believe it was under the umbrella of elimination. And he said, sometimes we just want to let go everything that we don't think is for our good. But there are some times in life where you just can't let go because they may be your family member. They may be, this and that. So we have to realize that everyone is there for a reason. And it's for our growth. If it's bothering us, it's definitely for our growth. So sometimes when we can't get outside, when we all have to be in the kitchen together, learn to embrace it.
Not sweat the
make
small
the
stuff.
best of it. Yes.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes.
Good. I like that. I like that.
Can you
Good.
add journaling to that, Shakira?
Yes, I
Please
can
add that.
definitely add
Yes.
journaling.
Yes, while you're in your little corner or you're in your space, just make a few notes to yourself.
Yes, 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 yes. So, Rihanna, what is your encouragement to, the youngsters? And I want to include those who are probably even supposed to have a graduation ceremony right now and they're not having it, and we didn't get a lot of time to talk about how you're feeling and your emotions is around that. But what would be your encouragement to all the high school and children who are faced with this experience?
I know a lot of us are very disappointed right now. Grad bash is canceled, prom, graduation, all the fun stuff that we were looking forward to. And a lot of people are saying, I worked all these 4 years for what? For nothing. My prom is canceled. You worked those 4 years for a reason. Like prom and graduation is not everything. There is much more to life than these events that were supposed to happen. There is way more ahead of you. So right now, just appreciate this time, like learn a new skill or do something. I learned how to twist my own hair, like, do like a weave twist. And so that's going to help me a lot when I go off to school, just in case I don't find like a hairstylist or whatever.
Perfect.
Just don't feel like you have to spend every hour of every day doing something. It's okay to relax too. You would relax on a regular weekend. Don't feel bad relaxing during this COVID-19, but also just take the time to do something new and have fun. It'll be over soon. You're young. You have time for stuff.
Well said. Well said. So I want to thank you all for just taking the time to share. I want to say Happy Mother's Day to you. And I hope that you will be, repeat that, Michelle?
No, I was just reiterating. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. I was echoing
Yes. Happy Mother's Day to everyone. It's one of those weird experiences. I'm thinking about my mom, and it's usually that time that I would be driving down to her house and taking care of her. But we'll probably just send something there, send food. I don't know what we'll do, but we'll do something to keep the connection going, right? And so I thank you for your insights today of just study, journal, relax, as Rihanna said, and, use the technology to stay connected to family. And we're more connected now, even though we're socially distancing. So, and thank you for your commitment to UTC, fellow teachers. I appreciate that. And I know Reverend Charles does also. And Rihanna, you're making us so happy. We are so happy with just how you are standing through this experience. And peace and blessings to you guys. Have a good one.
Thank you.
You are welcome.
Bye.